How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. The final game of the season is upon us. We are going to be seeing Gloucester versus Northampton Saints. I want to break this game down. I want to go into key players, key areas where this game can be won and lost. And at the end of the video, I'm going to give my predictions. So make sure to stay tuned for that. And before I continue, please like and subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. And let's dive into this. So first up, we have a match between the teams where in Gloucester they have everything to gain, right? Everything to gain. They are coming in with pressure. They're coming in with hopes of getting into the the playoffs. Whereas the Saints, they know there's nothing left for them in the Prem. What could this win spell for them other than it's a consolation? It's just a bit of oomph before the season ends, just a little bit of that ego boost. But ultimately, they know that there's nothing for them to gain in the Prem. They know, and they are still probably licking their wounds after that after that loss to Bordeaux in the Champions Cup final. And honestly, I feel we are going to see a depleted Northampton side. And in that, I'm not talking about squad-wise, I'm talking about mentality-wise. Coming off of a loss to Bordeaux is going to be a big one. Now, don't get me wrong. The Saints are going to be going into this game with everything that they've got. Again, they've got nothing to lose. But they've also got nothing to win either. It's more just a bit of an ego boost. Gloucester, however, are coming in with everything in their path. Yes, we look, Gloucester are currently 5th on 51 points. Bristol are 4th with 53 points. Sale with 54 points. And then obviously Leicester with 56 points. But that's a bit out of that realm. Whereas we have Bristol and Sale, within that realm, if things go their way. But they need to get over the stumbling block of the Northampton Saints. In my previous video, I did say if the Saints come away with a win over Bordeaux, we would potentially see them absolutely smash Gloucester. But with a loss, with that hanging over their heads, I feel they are just going to be depleted. They're not going to have that motivation. What is there for them to play for? Yes, they do have the joy of playing for the team, of playing for, quite possibly the club that they love. But what else? I don't know. There isn't anything. Knowing the attitude of the players, they are going to give everything. Because you look at Alex Coles, the guy put in an absolutely brilliant performance. We did see Ram, and we did see what's his name? It slips me now. George Furbank get sent off, practically stretched it off early on in that game up against Bordeaux. Henry Pollock is just Henry Pollock. The guy, he is an absolute monster. He's a beast. He wants to give everything, and I think he's going to have a brilliant Lions tour. But the likes of your Alex Mitchell, Tommy Freeman, the list just goes on. They got ridiculous talent. So now it's just going to come down to building on for the next season. Honestly, I feel that they are probably going to end up playing a pretty strong squad, but Gloucester are going to be going in with everything that they've got in the hope that they can come away with a potential Premiership win. Now we look at that, and then we look into Gloucester themselves. Personally, I feel they've done so well this season. They're potentially getting into the playoffs. But what after? Let's say for whatever reason they end up winning the Premiership, right? 19 of those players are leaving. 19 of those players are leaving. They're going to France. They're going wherever the hell they're going. That's a vast majority of the players going bye bye. So yes, they will leave with the Premiership win, but the team now needs to rebuild. How amazing would it be if they had this squad that potentially got into the the playoffs, and even worst case, let's say they finish fifth or sixth. That's still a very good run in. And then moving into next year, where they could then build on that. They would be better bonded. They would have had more time together. They would understand each other much better. But no, oh yeah, you know what? Let's get rid of 19 players. Let's bring in a whole new bunch that haven't played together, that don't know each other, that don't understand how each other plays, that they're going to now need to go through the learning curve of the players, understanding positionally, understanding how the other players think. You look at the Saints, for instance. A lot of the players, they've been playing together since they were kids. They understand how a lot of things are done. They understand how a lot of players think. So they are better bonded. So they don't need to necessarily know anything. Well, they don't need to see to understand where they're going to be going. They don't need to see to understand what kind of pass is going to be coming. Because at points you can read the pass before it's going to come, so you can better prepare yourself. But Gloucester are not setting themselves up for this. It seems like as soon as they're getting anything good, they're like, oh yeah, let's rebuild our squad. Why would you rebuild your squad? Play with what you have, build on what you have, not do a mass exodus. Now, there's probably a lot of things behind it, and oftentimes it's financials. I don't know. I feel, what would happen if Gloucester actually had to win the Prem? What would happen? And then get rid of all your players. Like, okay, bye bye, thank you. We have a title winning side here. Yeah, goodbye. It doesn't make sense to me. But again, I'm not a professional. Uh, this game, we are going to be seeing elite level players. There's no doubt around that, right? We look into the last game between Gloucester and it was Gloucester and Newcastle, where Gloucester ended up winning, right? They had pretty good players, right? We look at Williams, we look at Anscombe, we look at Singleton, we look at Clark, well, both Clarks. Um, we look at Wade, brilliant. We look at Carreras. They're losing Carreras to France. No. They're not losing Carreras to France. I believe they're going to be losing Carreras to Bath. How scary is Carreras going to be at Bath? They just lost an elite level 15 to quite possibly the Premiership champions. Yeah, great job. So, um, Gloucester have everything. If they can get wins here, if things can go their way, get into the playoffs, it would be a brilliant season. I just don't understand the Exodus. Maybe you guys can enlighten me on the Exodus. Maybe there's some things that I didn't read or I didn't see. But if I was a Gloucester fan, I would be, in a nice way, very upset, considering they fifth, fighting for playoff. Yeah. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in relation to that. On to my prediction. My heart is telling me the Saints to win by a penalty. My brain, considering where Gloucester are, the performances that they are capable of putting in, the likelihood of Gareth Anscombe being an absolute beast, the likelihood of Santi Carreras being an absolute beast, and the Saints coming off of the biggest loss of their season, I am going to give Gloucester a converted try win. A converted try win, and for it to be a low scoring game. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please, final game of the season. I am going to do one final video once both teams have been announced, so make sure to check that one out. But pre-game, early thoughts. Who do you think is going to win? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Bye.